and welcome back to Lavender Coco Kitchen. Well, one of my favourite treats is an after dinner mint because I really love the combination of dark chocolate and mint, and it is a really healthy combination. Only problem is if you buy after dinner mints in the shops, as you know, they can be very high in sugar and other additives, which you probably really don't want. So I can show you a really easy way to make your own after dinner mints that are low in sugar and really healthy. And of course, it's actually a good treat to have before bed because peppermint can help improve sleep, and it also settles the stomach. And of course, dark chocolate can relieve stress and put you in a good frame of mind. So it's actually quite beneficial to have with a cup of tea after dinner. Alright, so we're going to start with cacao butter, which is the fat from the cacao bean, and that's just the raw one you can buy in health food stores. I'm just going to melt that on the stove. And make sure you melt it on a really low heat because if it burns, it becomes bitter. Or you can put a saucepan of simmering water and melt it on that, which is a safer way, but I usually just do it on a low heat. So just put it to very low and just leave it, it'll slowly melt. So while that melts, I'll just measure half a cup of raw cacao powder. Alright, so once the cacao butter is melted, you can add the other ingredients. So I got coconut syrup. I'll just put a tablespoon, and coconut syrup is a really lovely rich flavour. You could use maple syrup, but coconut syrup really adds a good flavour to the chocolate. Okay, then we have vanilla. And just a teaspoon, and that really adds to the flavour as well. Just a little bit of salt, because salt really brings out the flavour of the chocolate. You don't need too much, just a little pinch to enhance it. And then of course the cacao powder. So then just mix it all together. Alright, so now you need to just put half the chocolate on a tray to make a square or rectangle. You could use a small tin with sides on it, or if you don't have one, just make some paper like that, just fold it up a bit, so it's going to stop the chocolate from running everywhere. So put about half on there and just spread it out. So now you can put it in the fridge or the freezer, or just leave it on the bench just to cool and set. It really depends on what the climate is like. So it's reasonably warm here. I'll just put it in the fridge so it can set while we make the filling. Peppermint filling. So I got some cashews, I just soaked for about 15 minutes in boiling water. So I just drain into the blender. And there's a quarter of a cup of the melted cacao butter. Let's put that one in. Okay, so now I've got coconut cream. just canned coconut cream. I'll just put a 1/4 cup of that in. So now for the sweetener, this time I'm going to use maple syrup, not coconut syrup. And the reason is I want the peppermint to retain a white appearance. If you use coconut syrup, because it's very dark and rich, it's going to make the color more brown. So then it looks more like caramel rather than peppermint. So if you want it to stay looking white, then use maple syrup. So I'm just going to put a tablespoon. So that's 1/2 tablespoon and another one. To finish it off, of course, we have our peppermint essence. So about 1½ teaspoons should be fine, depending how strong you like it. You could put a bit less or a bit more. You just taste it and see how strong you like the peppermint. Just have to blend it until it's smooth. Alright, so we have a nice smooth mint filling. So that's nice. It's got a good peppermint flavour, but if you want a stronger flavour, add some more peppermint and mix it in. But I think it's good like this. So as you can see, the chocolate is almost set. So what we need to do is put the mint filling on top. And if you like, just reserve a little bit of the filling. So you could pipe a decorative finish on the top if you want to. So I just put the filling on there. So if you want to pipe a decorative finish on top, you can just, you can buy a piping bag or just make your own out of paper. And just thin the filling with a little bit of hot water. Don't put in too much or it'll be too thin. Just put in a little bit so you get it a little bit thinner. So it's more easy to pipe on the top. So I'll just put it into the piping bag, if I can. So once the filling has set a little bit, just use the remainder of the chocolate. If you find it's gone a bit too thick, you can heat it really gently just to make it a bit more liquidy. Otherwise, this one's still okay, so I can just put it straight on. So just carefully smooth it on so you don't mix it up with the filling. It's got to be gentle. I'll just briefly put it in the freezer to harden it a little bit, then I'll try to put a decorative topping on it. It's firmed up a little bit, so you can just pipe some lines on just to make it look nice. Yeah. Whoa, it doesn't have to be perfect, just to give a bit of a decoration. It's going all over my hand, but you get the idea. So once that's done, just put it back in the fridge or the freezer until it firms just a little bit more, and then you have to mark it into squares. Okay, it's been in the freezer for about 1 to 2 minutes, and it's not fully set. You want to do this before it fully sets so it's easier to mark. and cut. So just like with a knife, just mark where you want it to be cut. Just wipe the knife if it gets a bit too much chocolate on it. Okay, so then just put it back in the fridge or the freezer so it just finished setting completely. Okay, that's been in the freezer about 5 to 10 minutes and it's pretty much frozen now, or set I should say. So you can just cut into squares where you marked them before. It should cut easily. As you can see, you have a nice after dinner mint there. That really does make a very healthy and delicious after dinner snack. And if you have diabetes like I do, it's actually a snack you can eat without having to worry about your blood sugar levels. As long as you obviously don't overdo it, but one piece like this should be fine. And for everyone else, you can probably eat as much as you like because it is low sugar and it is very healthy. So don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Thank you.